Exposure compensation is a simple camera feature that allows you to quickly make your images brighter or darker when shooting in P mode by adjusting the camera's shutter or aperture settings. However, it is much faster than changing from P mode to M mode and adjusting the aperture or shutter speed. When shooting for CirclePix, you will most often find yourself changing your exposure compensation when you have bright light coming in from windows, when there's lots of snow on the ground, or anytime you have unbalanced light, dark images, or washed out images. If you don't know how to change your exposure compensation, please view the camera training video on the wiki, or you can contact your client manager. The most common reason to adjust your exposure compensation is bright lights from windows. When light coming from windows is too bright, you don't get a clear shot out the window and the surrounding room may be too dark. Decreasing your exposure compensation will give you a clear shot out the window and correctly expose the room, as in these examples. Another common reason for changing your exposure compensation is snowy images. When there's a lot of snow on the ground, the brightness of the snow affects the camera's center and you'll appear too dark. Watch these images change as our exposure compensation goes from 0 to +2. Note especially the effect of the exposure compensation and snowbanks. As the exposure compensation gets too high, the image gets washed out and you lose detail in the snowbanks. The color of the sky becomes less rich. In these cases, you want to find a balance between white snow and rich colors. Sometimes simply increasing or decreasing the exposure compensation isn't enough because you still have part of the image that's too dark and part that is too bright. In these cases, you can turn up your flash to compensate. In these examples, lowering the exposure compensation helps you get a good shot out the window, but results in the room being too dark. By increasing your flash's output, you are able to brighten up the room while still getting a clear shot out the window. Try adjusting your exposure compensation on your next tour